What's up, everyone? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Komaris, and as you can see by the title, today I'm going to be asking, questions that need answers. And these questions are basically like questions that I created, um, just off like random thoughts that I have throughout the day, like, and I'm asking myself like, why aren't people talking about this? Why, um, haven't I seen anybody else asking this question and things like that, random stuff that I think about throughout the day in the shower, walking, anything like that. And before I get into the video, I just want to say excuse my ignorance. Even if there is an answer to this already that I'm just not aware of. And if the question is just, stupid to you or whatever. But here we go. And if I'm steady looking over here, I'm looking at the question. Question 1, we have, why aren't our important documents fire or damage proof? Specifically the ones for like personal identification, and things like that. Birth certificates, IDs, passport, even social security, and things like that. I feel like if they were, so important, they should be already like coming in, something protective. Like I would just always be thinking about like when cars like wreck, like people wreck and like the cars blow up and things like that, and they're trying to figure out like if the person, who's the person is. I know that they can go through identification through other ways like bones and stuff like that, but if I feel like if the ID was, it sounds so crazy, but I'm gonna double down on it. But if they were able to like just go through and the ID is in there and stuff like that, they'll be like, okay, this is them. But I somehow feel like that's impossible, because how would you be able to print on something like that? And like something of that material, like I'm not sure what material is fireproof or anything like that, but I'm just gonna say steel for now. But what if they printed on, like, how could they do something like that on steel? But yeah, I just think it would be like worth having for something to be that important to be protective, even if it's not for like a very like harmful way of like protecting something. Like our social security cards are like on these paper that's like, it's almost printed on something like refurbished paper, reused paper, and things like that. That's how it feels. And it just, it's not, like, it seems like fibers in a way, and it's like it's so easy to tear. And I feel like if it was printed on something more durable, then I wouldn't have this question. But anyway, they want us to spend the extra money of, getting a new copy of the thing anyway, That's America for you. Question number 2, I ask, when people we love die, do they become part of our intuition or inner dialogue? Or is this just, what we consider as becoming our guardian angel? By this question, I mean like, when people we had a very close connection with, and things like that pass away, and it's like, how do we live without someone like that close to us, like no longer being in communication with them, no longer having any type of, interaction with them? Like, how does that work? And I feel like it's impossible to like no longer have any type of communication with someone that important. In a way, you must have some type of interaction even if you don't know it. Like, they become part of your intuition. You think it's your intuitions, but it's honestly them telling you what you should do, what route you should take, giving you unsolicited, well, I guess this can be considered unsolicited advice, without you even knowing that it's them. whole time you think that you're coming up with these ideas on your own, but it's really that person that you loved and very much respected and had a very close connection to taking place of your intuitive thoughts. Question number 3, why is auto-tune so hated? Personally, I am someone who is very much an auto-tune enthusiast. I believe that people should not be judged for experimenting with auto-tune. I love when artists use auto-tune. I feel like it sounds good, and it's almost impossible to sound terrible with auto-tune. But people have been so programmed into thinking like you have to be a great live singer without any reverb, without any auto-tune, without any effects, this and that. But everybody doesn't have to be a vocalist or just a great or good or okay singer all the time. I believe that auto-tune is just, you know, a tool that's been created to be experimented with. As we know, everybody who uses auto-tune, they don't just use it just because they can't sing. Hence, T-Pain, he's a very great singer, and he still uses auto-tune, and he was very known for his come up with, you know, using auto-tune.
What's the chances of you rolling with me? Back to the crib, show you how I live. Let's get drunk and forget what we did. I'm back your drain.
Even Stevie Wonder used to use, you know, auto-tune, even though it was not really considered auto-tune. It was the voice box, which is today's auto-tune.
Let's do it now, ooh, baby. Just like me. They love to be close to you.
And I just feel like people should allow people to express themselves using all these different vocal effects, and, you know, just give songs and the lyrics more of a way to be expressed, in my opinion. And also with like artists in these experimental genres who use auto-tune, like Bjork. I love the way that she uses auto-tune and how it just creates an entirely different sound, and it makes the music seem more interesting to me, in my opinion. I feel like anyone who hates on auto-tune is simply someone who is not open-minded, and they are very much programmed into liking the things that they like. They don't venture out and go into finding out why they like anything. Like, that's what scares me most about some people, especially when it comes to like people who only listen to things that are marketed to them. That's why rollouts matter so much to them, because they want to like something, but if it's not already liked by a mass amount of people or the majority, or they have, it doesn't even have to be the masses or the majority, as long as they have like other people they can connect with and be like, oh, they like, somebody else likes this with me, I'm not alone, I am good and I am comfortable with supporting this. But a lot of people really have no individuality. They need to be guided into their interests, and that's very scary to me. And I feel like the radio is so important because it programs people into like, okay, this is what you're supposed to like, and I'm gonna play this, and you're gonna like it because I'm gonna play it all the time, and you have no choice but to like it, because after hearing it so much back to back to back, you're gonna unintentionally build a liking towards it. And I feel like that's how a lot of people, you know, yeah, I don't know how I got into that, but yeah, I'm just go to the next question because this is going way deeper than what I wanted to do with that. Question number 4. Why do we call it Beyonce's internet when this used to apply back in the day. Beyonce has admitted, especially in the documentary, that she is very actively online. She definitely has a burner, and she spends a lot of time on YouTube and Instagram. So now that I'm looking back on that question, it doesn't really make sense because she does use the internet, but I'm still wondering, like, why is it called Beyonce's internet? Is it because she has control over like things like that, and like she can instantly drop something and call other people, like the blogs, attention and things like that? Is that why? Because if it's not, I don't really know why it's called Beyonce's internet. Question 5. How many successful or highly awarded professional athletes are flat-footed? So I know that being flat-footed has like a very large, it has so many reasons of being a disadvantage. I'm a flat-footed person myself, and I can say that as I get older, I am experiencing a lot more pain. Yesterday I walked and ran 7 miles, and now my ankles are feeling very much inflamed and tight, and they're hurting so bad, and I'm trying to just keep flexing them so that the pain will go away, so I won't like tense up too much. But there's a lot of disadvantages that come with being flat-footed. Also, like certain dance moves that are very much harder to do, especially like when you're trying to do ballet. A lot of people that wear like heels or any elevated footwear, they struggle with that. Like that brings a lot of pain, and some shoes just don't even like fit right. And even me, sometimes I struggle with like getting shoes that are my size. I know they're my size. Speaking of the Jordan 1 specifically, I get them in my size, and because they're such a narrow shoe, and when I step, my foot kind of widens out. It makes it harder for me to wear them because they begin to hurt and things like that. So I'm wondering if there are any flat-footed people who have perks to, being flat-footed. Like, I was basically just watching the Olympics, and I was like, I wonder how many of them are flat-footed, and how does this help them? Like, are you able to plant your foot better as a flat-footed athlete? Maybe that will help people in tennis. Does this help you swim faster? Because it's like kind of sort of close to like having webbed feet. I don't know. Is it? But flat-footed is more so in the arch and not the, toe. And how ducks and stuff have webbed feet and that helps them swim better. It's not really in the toe area, so I guess that's not as accurate. But does it help you with your landing, like in gymnastics? Does it help you plant your foot better when you're running or throwing shot put and things like that? I don't know, but that's just one of the questions that I have. In the midst of editing, I stopped and I went and looked up like who are some famous athletes who are flat-footed, and I found Haile Gebrselassie, which is crazy because we actually included Haile Gebrselassie in our documentary where we talked about how music affects athletic performance. I will have that linked in the description as well. And the crazy thing about this is that he talks about how running barefoot helps him a lot while being a flat-footed person, which is one of the questions that I, had in there. Was like, does being flat-footed like have any advantages? And yeah, he said that he would prefer to like run barefoot because it helped him like feel more comfortable and faster, and that he had to figure out how to, kind of maneuver his foot in a way to like where he developed a certain arch, or like hold it within a certain position where it's this false arch, to where like it was still comfortable for him to like run in his shoes. And I'm gonna look more into it, but just off that alone, I think that's really cool. And I can't wait to figure out who else in other sports are flat footed. And he's also the greatest long distance runner of all time, which is crazy. Question 6. How do artists feel when we recognize their samples and interpolations? So basically, this question is just asking, like, do these artists feel happy, sad, disappointed, or, you know, glad that we figure out what their samples are? Like, I remember I was watching this documentary. I'm currently like going down this rabbit hole of Wu-Tang, and Ghostface Killer was talking about how RZA, part of the Wu-Tang, he was like basically like one of the producers for them, and also like one of the rappers as well. He talked about how in Wu-Tang, like, he didn't want to tell the interviewer like the exact sample of the song because ain't nobody discovered it yet, and he don't know if RZA wanted the sample to be out. And early in hip hop, I remember them saying like how they would, use actual records, like vinyl records, and they would actually spin those and have these heavy crates that they would, find all these different music and stuff like that on vinyl during DJ sets and things like that, and they would sample that way, and they will hold those samples dear to their hearts, and like didn't want anybody to know that and things like that. So them coming up around that era makes a lot of sense of why he's gatekeeping samples and things like that. But I just really wonder, like, how do they feel about it once we like find out, like, okay, this is the sample? Because it's a lot more easier now for us, because we have so much music easily available to us that we can listen to things of every genre, you know, very easily, and we are more prone to like catching on to songs and being like, especially like if you're have Spotify. Like, Spotify introduces you to so much things like against your will at times, but I love it. And it helps you be able to recognize all these different songs and stuff like that. Like, I literally have a whole playlist on Apple Music and Spotify, and it's called How Familiar. And I basically started this playlist during the summer of 2023, I believe. During the summer, I was bored, and I just really wanted to find something to do just randomly. And I just kept listening to songs, and they would remind me of other songs. And I wanted to challenge myself to basically kind of like figure out the sample interpolation without fact checking or Googling and things like that. So I have a playlist where I would have the first song would be the sample or interpolation, and the next few songs up under it will be sampling or interpolating the official song. And I just wonder how they would feel about something like that, and just knowing that people are catching on to this. I never really see any artists talk about like how they feel. Like, are they excited? Does this bring them enjoyment or anything like that? They just don't really even acknowledge it, to be honest. But yeah. Question 7. Why do people drink energy drinks with alcohol? I don't really have any more extra to say for this question. I just really wonder, like, why, because I see it done so often. Like, I understand you drinking, but what is the energy drink for? Does it like bring you does it help with, hangover or anything like that? I really don't understand that. I feel like both. I'm against drinking both, but I don't understand like the energy drink part. I just feel like that's just poison on poison. Question 8. Why don't people from NOLA or, the Louisiana as a whole pronounce the TH suffix in words? I first realized this growing up listening to Lil Wayne. Like, he would say certain words that end in TH, but he would never say the TH. Like, I'm gonna insert a video of me breaking down basically like what I mean by this that I created on TikTok. But I just really don't understand like why. You know how people have always had like this obsession with like NOLA accents and things like that. It's something that I picked up on not only just in the accent of people from NOLA, but from Louisiana as a whole. Like, I feel like they don't pronounce the TH in anything. And I realized this while listening to like Lil Wayne, and then also like going through and paying close attention to like people that I'm close to or I know personally that are from, the area, and they never pronounce the TH in anything, or it's like it ends with like a D, or they just kind of like stop at the T or something. I don't know. But like, for instance, say like mouth, they always say mouth. Teeth, teeth. Both, both. Tooth, tooth. They never pronounce the TH. I don't know if that's just a me thing or I'm hearing wrong, but I don't know. That fascinates me more than just the sound of their accent. I don't know if I'm just overanalyzing or if this is really a thing that's being done, but I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. Question 9. Does likability matter more than love? Last night I was on TikTok and I was just listening to this guy talk about, which I love majority of his takes. One of my favorite TikTokers when it comes to like, talking about like just giving their thoughts and just sharing their experiences in life and things like that. He's one of my favorite. I love his perspective on things. And he was basically talking about how he doesn't want to be loved, he wants to be liked. Because he feels like it's harder to love. I mean, it's harder to like someone, but it's very easy to love someone.
We be talking about, man, I want somebody to love me. I want somebody to understand me. I want somebody to learn about me. I want somebody to like me. Like, someone that likes you wants to pick your brain. Someone that likes you wants to keep on asking you questions about yourself and know why. Why is the why. Someone that likes you is going to let you be the worst version of yourself, but still be there for you. Like, I don't think that's love. Something that I've learned lately, like I said that, or like before in a different video, that I never feel like I've experienced love from the people that I needed to experience love from. I seen something like come across my FYP, and it was saying that some people can love you, but like they're just incapable of loving you. Like, not everybody loves you the way that you want to be loved. And that's what I feel like is a hard pill to swallow, but not for me personally, but for some other people maybe. I feel like love is something that you can't just one person can describe and it's just this one definitive thing. I feel like love is like art. It's so subjective. Like, you can't really you can't contextualize it. But to be liked, I think you can contextualize likeness. I want somebody to just like listen to me while I talk about all my childhood trauma and just be asking me like, damn, that's what really. And then I do the same for them. I realized somebody liked me for the first time this last, really the beginning of this year. I was like, damn, this girl really liked me. Like, she asked me questions about myself. So I want to be liked. I don't want to be loved. I don't want to be sought after, like lusted or whatnot. I want to be liked.
And it makes a lot of sense, especially like with people who have like family members and things like that. You're gonna love them regardless, based off like past experiences and things like that, and growing up with them. Because of those experiences that y'all shared together, you're gonna love them regardless, because y'all had no choice but to be around each other, and you have no choice but to love them. But to like them is different. A lot of people in our family and things like that, or people that we just all around grew up with, it's easier to lose a likeness of them, well, a liking of them, because of, the things that they did and the things that they do, or their way of thinking can, start to deter you from them, especially as you get older and you build up your own, stream of consciousness and your own ideas and things like that. You're no longer influenced by them and stuff like that. Yeah, I really did love that take. I believe that it made a lot of sense, and now I'm questioning, like, does likeness matter, more than love, for real? And the last question, question 10, I asked, do writers ever question each other in the AHS room, meaning American Horror Story writing room, when they come up with something extremely creative yet so disturbing? And me and my cousin have basically been spending time watching American Horror Stories. That's like a spin-off of American Horror Story, where they basically, it's still the American Horror Story franchise, but they basically don't spend an entire season going down, delivering a story. They break it down into, like, maybe it's one episode, or it takes 1 to 3 episodes to, get the story across. And I really do love that. I think it's really dope. It's giving grown up goosebumps. And I love that, because I feel like a lot of shows are very much dragged out, and we get too many episodes and too many, like, you're forcing this storyline. Like, you could have been in it, this show, like, earlier. You're ruining the show by adding all this extra oomph to it, and it's not doing anything for me but feeling like you're wasting my time. But the thing about that is, like, it is some very strange things that come up in those episodes. I feel like it's more stranger than, the regular seasons of American Horror Story. And, like, how do y'all come up with this stuff? And, like, do people ever, like, get disturbed in the writing room? Like, I don't, like, I would look at people who come up with something like that and think, like, would you try this? Because why are you thinking of this? And things like that. But I will also, in a way, kind of be very amazed at, like, how did you come up with this? And I also would like to kind of try it myself, like, just sitting in the writing room with them as they come up with this. I feel like it would be so inspiring, and, it would just be like a creative writing class, in my opinion. But yeah, they do come up with a lot of very disturbing things, and it's very unsettling with the things that they come up with. But, I still be amazed in a way. But yeah, I wonder if anyone in the room ever gets uncomfortable, or, have to leave because something is disturbing, or if these are even, like, based on, like, things that have actually happened, they're witnessed and stuff like that. And overall, like, where does the inspiration come from for them to create something like this? But yeah, that's it of me, brain dumping all these questions that need answer, and me actually trying to answer them myself. But yeah, I think this was very fun. Definitely might make this a series, because I always have questions that need answers, and I struggle with finding the answers too, so I come up with my own answers half the time. But hopefully this makes, sense, in that y'all can provide me with some kind of answers, and don't be afraid of dropping them in the comments, even if you feel like it doesn't make sense. I don't feel like I'm making sense, but I just would like to hear your thoughts on these questions, and what do you feel like is the answer and stuff like that. But yeah, it's your boy Komaris. Thank you all for tuning in, and be sure to check the description. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, ko.mars, and every other social media platform, and extra things that you're looking for is definitely in the description as well. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.